window and ask the right question.
Communication and investigation, guys. Okay. Now again, 90% of these customers have done the homework online. It's like 93% now do their homework online before they arrive into the store. Most of these customers, would you agree, know what they want? When they know what they want, the investigation part is so simple. I don't have to dig too hard, okay? We're gonna go over both examples right here. So if they know what they want, what do I need to find out in this 2-minute window before, from meet and greet to getting the keys for the car? I got roughly 2 minutes to try and find out a few things. Okay, who's the vehicle for? Okay, who's the lucky one? That's how you answer that. That's how you ask that. Okay, who's the vehicle for?
How long have they picked out a vehicle in mind?
How long? Okay, if they've picked out a vehicle, what do I need to ask next?
What is it about the vehicle that you like?
What is it about that one? Okay, it's important, guys. One little thing wrong, okay? How'd you hear about us? That's a good question, okay? But that's not the question right now, because right now, while their guard is down, there's a few things I need to find out, okay? I can come back to that later. But if I burn up 3 minutes talking about how'd you hear about us, and by now I get to the car and I'm opening the car, I can't go back and ask some important questions, okay? These questions I need to know now, okay? What is it about that vehicle you like? What made you choose to go with that vehicle? I want them talking right now, okay? Then I want to get something I could tie to emotion, okay? If this all works out today, Trent, what's the first trip you got in mind? Where you plan on taking your car? Okay? This sounds silly, okay? But what my first question be, who's the lucky one getting a new car? I'm going to combine these two together right here, okay? I'm removing the missing third party. Okay, because this is goals and setups, guys. Goals and setups. Everything I'm asking right now is going to be used later in the process. That's why it's so important I ask this information now. Okay, when I ask how long have you been shopping, what I'm removing right there is I've just started. Okay. When I ask, what is it about this one that jumped out to you? What made you decide to go with this one? What I'm doing right there is I'm finding all my hot buttons.
Gross profit.
To make gross. Okay? And when I'm asking, if this all works out today, where's the first place you plan on taking your vehicle? Where are you going to take your car? Who do you plan on taking it with? Are you taking the kids with you? Is this going to be grandkids? Well, I'm raising these emotions, but I'm also creating ownership. I could use this later. This right here would probably be, as a closer, this right here would probably be my last bump. This right here would be where I'd shake the customer's hand. I'd get the last $25, $30. We'd shake hands and we'd move on. Okay? But if I don't ask these questions now, and I try to ask these questions in here or in here, you're not going to get the answers. You're going to get answers like, well, we just actually just started. We just wanted to get a look at it today. I don't need to buy a car. My car works perfectly fine. You know, we don't need to do anything today. We can hold off. Look, right? Does this happen, Gurdeep? Yep. I can't go back now and ask these questions. They're perfectly aware that these questions will be held against them. So they're not going to give me these answers. So I have to get these now, okay? If you don't have a closer system, these are all tools you're going to use later. If you do have a closer system, these are the tools you need to pass to your closer with the write-up. Okay, when I give my write-up over to the desk, I'm let Ozzy know, hey, car's for him. He's been looking for 3 weeks. He went to Visalia. He called Visalia. They told him they had one. He drove all the way down there. They didn't have it. It was a locate. He was a little bit pissed off about that. Okay, this one is the exact color he wanted and the exact package. He only wanted the sport package. He wouldn't take the off-road package. They tried to give him the off-road package. He didn't want it because he likes the hood or whatever, right? They already bought a boat. He wants to take it out this weekend.
Where you're coming from? Your question too.
Possibly, if you have enough time. If you have enough time. So these are things too. You got to remember too. There's 3 conversations that are going to be had. There's one conversation right here that is in the communication and the investigation. He makes a good point right here. Okay. There's 3 combos that are going to take place in this right now. Okay. One is right here, steps 3 and 4. This is the most important of the conversations. These are the things I need to find out. Who's the car for? How long have you been shopping? What did you like about that car? And what emotions can I tie to the deal later? Okay? If I have time to ask a couple other questions, I might. Okay? But you got to remember too, there's going to be another conversation that happens on the demo. There's going to be quiet time on the demo. If you're just sitting there and there's nothing left to talk about because you talked about a bunch of stupid shit up here that had nothing to do with the car deal, you don't want to be asking these questions on the demo. The demo's supposed to be fun. We're past this point. On the demo, it's supposed to be fun. Hey, by the way, that's a good time to ask about maybe job, maybe things they like to do, hobbies, right? Things that don't necessarily have to do with the car. Maybe we ask where'd they come from, how did you hear about us, right? Things that maybe don't have to particularly do with the car. It's not necessarily ammunition I need, but maybe I do get some ammunition on here too. How would I find out, how would I get ammunition in this conversation right here? They're always giving you tools to close the car deal during the whole transaction. But you got to be listening to catch these things, okay? So maybe on my demo and conversation, we're just talking, and I say, hey, by the way, where do you work at? I didn't even ask you. What type of work do you do? Okay, now we're on a demo, we're cruising. We built a little bit of relationship. Is it going to be offensive at this point to ask them what type of work they do? No. We're having a good conversation. We're good now, right? If I ask them right after meet and greet, what type of work do you do? Could that be taken the wrong way? Yes. That could be taken the wrong way. That could be taken as, why are you sizing me up this soon? And sometimes you'll get an answer like, I could pay cash for the car if I wanted to. That's somebody who's offended. You offended them, okay? People that could just pay cash for the car, that's not the third thing we say in the conversation. Unless you fucking offended me somehow, okay? And if you ask me what type of work do you do shortly after low, hey, what kind of work are you doing? That could be a little bit offensive, okay? So maybe I save that conversation down here. Because at the end of the day, does that make a big part of my decision if I'm gonna sell them a car or not? No.
Would you still, the whole work thing, is it cool they wait till like they get to the credit app?
It doesn't matter. I would like that on a demo, just as casual conversation, okay? Because again, I'm going to be collecting tools. So when he tells me you got downtime in the write-up, and that's when I would go back to this. That's where I talk about more about that. Cool. I talk more about the emotional stuff during the write-up because you're getting ready to deliver some big pencils. You mentioned you want to take it to San Francisco. You got family up there? Is that just a place you like to visit? I'm going to talk about things like that, right? You ever been to that skyscraper? It's got that bar up top there. You go overlook the whole city. I forget what it's called. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get them talking, okay? We're going to talk about things like this. On that demo drive, that's when I like to bring up job, hobbies, because I'll collect information I can use later in this car deal, okay? If he tells me in this right here, like, yeah, I just started a new job. I'm going to be driving to Corcoran 3 times a week. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get this car because it's so much better than mine. Our family car is a Suburban. We're going to keep that because we need it for the grandkids, but I don't want to drive it every day to Corcoran and fucking kill me on gas. Does this kind of conversation happen? Yes. Are these all tools that you can use? Yes. Right? Make sense? You're constantly collecting data. I'm constantly putting shit in my pockets that I'm going to use later. I'm going to pull this stuff out later. But I'm doing it just in casual conversation. Okay? My next conversation, when's my next conversation take place? During the write-up process, okay? Once I hand off everything to the boss, and now I'm sitting with the customer, if I've talked about everything under the sun and I can't think nothing else to talk about, does that get uncomfortable? Yeah, and then you guys want to constantly get up, hey, they're in a hurry. No, they're not. You're in a fucking hurry. Because now you're uncomfortable, right? So save some stuff to talk about. Hey, you mentioned you like to fish. Where do you like to fish at? What got you into that? Whatever, doesn't matter. Talk about something other than a car deal that is pleasurable for them to talk about. You mentioned Corcoran. I'm assuming you're CEO. Yeah. How'd you get into that? Oh, my dad was a CEO. Went to blah, blah, blah. Right? But you need to find something to talk about. But there's 3 conversations need to take place. If I ask up here what type of job you got, what type of hobbies you're into, yada, yada, yes, I'll get them talking. But am I getting the core information that I need to close the car deal later? Come around later when Gurdeep delivers that big pencil and they go, okay, Curtis, well, this is what I needed. I just wanted to get an idea what it takes. Let me go home and talk to the wife. She's at work right now and I can come back Saturday. And we're so happy to set an appointment for Saturday for somebody who's never coming back. Right or not? Okay, what time Saturday? Make sure BDC don't jump on that. Don't worry about it. They're not coming back. You don't got to worry about that. Okay? I would rather have the information I needed up here to bring it back to this pencil. What do I want to work on? Trying to find somebody who's mysteriously not here, or what's in front of me? What's in front of me? Okay? Hey, Gurdeep, I respect that. Earlier in the conversation, one of the first things I asked you was, who's the lucky one to get in the car? You said yourself. And when we mentioned how long you've been shopping, you said about 2 weeks. So I'm assuming you and your wife have probably had several conversations about this. My guess is that you don't necessarily need to talk to the wife. My guess is there's something on this piece of paper that doesn't work for you. Am I right? Yes. All I need is that head nod. All I need is that yes. And I do not need to talk about the wife again. I can come back to this piece of paper and start closing what's in front of me. But if I don't collect this information up front, I don't have anything to fall back on. Right? That's why after attitude, after meet and greet, after that, what's the next important step? Communication. Okay, I need to find these things out. Now, this is the 90%. Those are the easier ones. Okay, now if they don't know what they want, I don't know exactly what I want. I want to take a look at what you guys have, see what jumped out to me. Okay, luckily this is only 10%. When I sold cars, this was every fucking customer. Okay, it's so much easier today with the internet. But now let's talk about that 10%. If they don't know what they want, do I ask these same questions? Yes, 100%. Okay, what I change is this. I don't ask, what is it you like about this vehicle? They have no vehicle picked out. I'll ask an easy question that they can relate to. Let me ask you this, Gurdeep. What's on your current car that you definitely want to keep on your next one? And I'll get them talking. I don't want to ask you yes or no questions. Okay? Yes or no questions do two things. They have yes or no answers, but they pin you sometimes into a corner that you can't get out of. I don't want to know, do you want 4x2 or 4x4? I don't care about that because I may only have one. I don't care what color you want. I may not have that color. I want to know the core stuff. What's on your current car that you can't live without, that you definitely have to have on your next one? Okay? When they finish telling me those things, what's my follow-up question? Huh? Opposite question. What's your current car not doing for you that you need the next one to do? What's it missing? Do they know these two answers? Are these easy answers for them to answer? Easy questions for them to answer? Yeah. So let me ask you this. Let's make this easy for you, Mr. Customer. What's on your current car that you can't live without? We got to keep this on your next one. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to ask you the opposite question, Mr. Customer. Can I slow down with my customers and just talk like a normal person right now? Absolutely. Yes. Sometimes we're in too big of a hurry and want to try and rush the process. Just slow down. Be a professional. Okay? Let me ask you this. What's your current car not doing for you that you want the next car to do? What's it missing? Let them talk. Okay? This is where the storytelling starts happening. This is when they start telling you, well, I just got the new job in Corcoran. I'm spending $150 a week as it is right now on fuel, so I need something better on fuel. But I want to keep the space because my daughter's expecting a kid. It's going to be our first grandkid, so I want to keep a third row, so I got the space. They start telling stories, right? What am I doing in this storytelling? Always active listening. During every conversation, you should be putting tools away. You should be packing your pockets full so you are ready to unload these pockets when it comes time to close this car deal, right? They tell you every transaction, every customer tells you everything you need to know to close the fucking deal. The problem is we don't listen. We don't listen. We don't hear it in the conversation, right? But when I ask them, what's your current car not doing for you? This one's easy. What's your current car have that you want to keep on your next one? That's going to be a short conversation. That's not what brought them here. This is what brought them here. What's your current car not have What's your current car not doing for you that you want your next one to do? This is where you get the information you need to close a car deal. This is what gets them talking. Make sense? Now, once I hear a handful of things that they want and need, I need to repeat this back to them. I need to let them know I heard. Okay, Matt, so if I understand you right, we definitely want to keep this and this, but on our next one, we want to pick up better fuel economy and a third seat. So maybe like a mid-size SUV, if we could find someone with a 4-cylinder, maybe a 6-cylinder, but definitely better than a Suburban, but still need a third seat for the grandbaby coming. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Is this important? Is that important right there? Does this show confidence? Does this let them know they're working with a professional? This also sets up my budget question. That's when I'm going to ask my budget question. Okay, perfect. Matt, so if we found a vehicle that fit all these needs for you, got the perfect vehicle for you, what type of monthly budget have you set aside for this?
600 a month.
Around 600?
Yeah.
Perfect. What's the next thing I need to do?
You gotta offer a suggestion. You gotta have a car in mind already.
I need to make a suggestion right now. When they're telling me this story, I'm active listening. I'm collecting all the tools I'm gonna need to close this car deal later, but I should also be painting a picture in my head. I should be building a car. Every time they tell me something, another fender should come together, a set of wheels. I should be building a car in my head so I can make a suggestion, okay? If I ask this series of questions and then I go, perfect, let's go walk the lot and see what jumps out to you, you're gonna lose. It's funny, but we do this stuff. We do this. Or we'll follow the customer 5 feet behind the customer, or they follow us 5 feet behind us. That's not being professional. You lose all your credibility. You did a perfect fucking meet and greet. You came with the right attitude. You asked all the right questions. And then you lose all your credibility when you tell them, okay, let's just go walk the lot and see if something jumps out to you. Good thing for you, I got 600 cars to choose from. That's not helping them, guys. You got to make a suggestion, okay? Nice thing, this is only about 10% of our customers. 90% know what they want when they arrive, okay? But again, if I were competing with 40 sales guys and I only got one opportunity a day, do I want to rely on only hoping to get that 90, or do I need to know how to treat the 10% as well? I only want one up. I want to make it count. Make sense? So I need to make sure I ask the right questions, and then I need to follow up with the right suggestion. Hey, you know what? I think I got the perfect vehicle for you, Trenton. Come with me. Come here. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think. Okay? And I'm going to walk in. I'm going to make a suggestion. Okay? If I'm off a little bit, this is why it's important to know your steps to the sell too. If I'm off a little bit and they go, well, not quite, Curtis, do I just start showing cars down the line? Or do I need to back up and ask a couple more questions? How close am I? Okay. How close am I, Mr. Customer? What do you like on this vehicle, and what's turning you off about this vehicle? I like everything about it, honestly, but I don't want the color. My neighbor has the same fucking color. Do little things tweak customers like this sometimes? Yeah. Honest to God, my neighbor's got the same fucking color. I don't want to pull up with the same color. Okay. So something just like this with a different color. Yes. Am I going to ask what color? No, I don't want to pin myself to a corner. Do you want something lighter or darker than this? Probably something lighter, easier to clean. Okay, let's go find option 2. Make sense? Don't pin yourself to a corner you can't get out of. You don't want to ask a yes or no or direct questions. You want to have open questions, okay? If it's the 90%, you don't need to ask about budget no more, okay? This changed a little bit since since a few years ago. COVID has really changed everything. Everybody researches online now. Every third party provider has a payment tool now. So if they come in knowing what they want, they may not be exact. They may have gave themselves too small of an interest rate that they don't deserve. It doesn't matter. They have a roundabout idea of what it's going to take to buy the car. So I don't need to spend a bunch of time asking that question on that 90% to know what they want. I'm going to assume they have a pretty good idea of what it's going to take to buy it. If they're off, it's probably not more than $100, $150, and your closers can take care of that, right? But there's 10% that don't know what they want. Do they always want more than what their budget will allow? Of course they do, okay? No, I really want, I want the third seat, man. I mean, I really want like a Escalade or maybe a Denali AT4. Those are really cool. Okay, perfect. we found the right Escalade, right AT4. What type of budget you had in mind? I'm paying $350 right now. I want to try and stay somewhere around the same. Okay, it was may not be quite an Escalade, but get you something with 4 wheels, right? It's important to know the two. Okay, they're generally going to tell you right about here. They'll have an idea. Somewhere quickly, if they came for looking for a car, they'll let you know, and then you'll know how to finish this back half of these questions. Okay, this takes practice, guys. This takes practice. Every step is important, and every next step is the most important step. But if you skip these steps, you still may make a deal, but I can almost guarantee it will have no money in it. You'll have no growth, okay? And you can sell 10 cars a month, 15 cars a month with skipping these steps. I've seen people that do it. They take 60 ups, they blow fucking 40 good customers, but they'll still manage to sell 12, 15 cars. And I can count it on my hand what they made. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, nothing but minis, right? And then on the payday, they're going, boss, I don't understand it. I sold 12 cars. I'm like, no, you gave away 12 cars, motherfucker. I wanted to talk to you about that. It's a good point you brought this up. Let's come talk about this now, right? Every step's important, but this is where your growth is made, okay? Once you're past this and you've done a power meet and greet and their guard is down and everybody's comfortable and you've wowed them with such a nice meet and greet that you've killed that negative emotion, slow down and be a professional. And ask these questions the right way. Get this information, okay? Then we can move on to the next one. We'll walk and choose and pick our car, okay? Which again, 90% of this is already done for us, okay? If it's 10% that we're talking about, I miss it on the first one, back up, ask a couple more questions, then move forward again. Don't just start showing cars, okay?